She lost her job saving the life of a 10-year-old girl hit by a bullet. The next day, she got a presidential invite. It was supposed to be just another Tuesday for Mariah Benson. The morning rush of the New York City subway, coffee clutched in one hand, tote bag in the other, earbuds tucked in as she walked briskly to the Eastbrook Community Hospital, where she worked as a trauma nurse. The air was thick with summer heat, and the city buzzed with its usual rhythm, fast, noisy, and indifferent. Mariah, however, carried her own quiet purpose through it all. She didn't need recognition, saving lives was her calling. But she had no idea that one choice, one irreversible moment, would soon upend her life and captivate a nation. She had just stepped out of the corner deli, her lunch break cut short, when the sound of gunshots tore through the calm of the neighborhood. Screams followed. Her instincts kicked in before her mind could catch up. She sprinted toward the chaos, weaving through a scattering crowd until she saw her, a small girl, no more than 10, lying on the sidewalk with blood soaking through her white dress. Her eyes were wide with pain and confusion. Mariah dropped to her knees beside her. "Sweetheart, stay with me," she said, voice steady even as her hands trembled. She tore off her jacket to apply pressure to the girl's abdomen where the bullet had entered. Sirens howled in the distance, but Mariah knew the minutes before they arrived would make the difference between life and death. She didn't have her medical kit. She didn't have gloves. But she had her training, and she had a heart that wouldn't let her walk away. The girl's name was Layla. Her mother had screamed it through tears as she watched helplessly from the other side of a barricade the police had hastily formed. Mariah worked tirelessly, speaking softly to Layla, never letting her slip into unconsciousness. When the ambulance finally arrived, Mariah helped carry her in, still applying pressure, still refusing to let go. At the hospital, her scrubs blood-soaked and her hair disheveled, she stayed until Layla was wheeled into surgery. Then she collapsed in a hallway chair and wept. By the time Mariah returned to her own hospital for her shift, 3 hours late, shoes caked in blood, she was met not with gratitude, but with a pink slip. "You abandoned your post," her supervisor said flatly. "We can't overlook that." She tried to explain. She told them about Layla. About the blood. The urgency. But policy was policy, and rules were rules. Mariah walked out of the hospital that day unemployed, exhausted, and unsure if she'd made the right decision. That night, alone in her apartment, she questioned everything. She'd spent years building her career. She'd worked overtime, holidays, and double shifts. And in one moment, it was all gone. All because she chose to save a child. Was kindness now something you were punished for? The story might have ended there if not for a bystander's cell phone video that surfaced on social media. It showed Mariah, in her nurse's badge and work shoes, cradling Layla, shielding her from further harm, commanding the scene with the calm of a seasoned professional. Within hours, the footage went viral. #Mariah the Hero trended across platforms. Celebrities retweeted it. News anchors ran segments about it. Layla's mother spoke through tears on television, saying, "That woman saved my baby. She's an angel." But the most unexpected turn came the next morning. Mariah's phone rang as she sat quietly sipping tea, still unsure what to do next. "Hello, is this Mariah Benson?" a warm, authoritative voice asked. "Yes. This is the office of the President of the United States. The President would like to speak with you." She blinked, thinking it was a prank. But seconds later, another voice came on. One she instantly recognized from countless press conferences and speeches. The President thanked her. He praised her bravery and sacrifice. Then he said something that made Mariah's heart catch in her throat. "I'd like to personally invite you to the White House. We want to honor you with the Presidential Medal of Humanity." Mariah didn't speak at first. She was too stunned. Tears welled up. "I was just doing what anyone should do," she finally whispered. "Maybe," the President replied. But not everyone would. 2 days later, Mariah stood in the East Room of the White House. She wore a modest navy dress and her late mother's locket. As cameras flashed and dignitaries applauded, the president placed a medal around her neck and spoke of a nation made better by people like her, people who act not for recognition, but because it's right. People who remind us all what compassion looks like. Layla and her family were there, too. The little girl, recovering and smiling, ran up to Mariah and hugged her tightly. "Thank you for saving me," she said. "I want to be a nurse just like you." Mariah knelt beside her, emotion choking her voice. "And I'll help you get there, I promise." The hospital that had fired Mariah sent a formal apology and offered her job back. She declined. Offers poured in from across the country, hospitals, universities, nonprofits. But Mariah chose a different path. She launched a foundation in Layla's name, focused on emergency response training in underserved communities. It shouldn't take a miracle for someone to survive, she told a crowd at the launch event. Let's make compassion the policy. The story of Mariah Benson became a symbol, a story told in classrooms, shared at dinner tables, and cited in op-eds. But Mariah never sought fame. She always returned to the same truth, that kindness isn't weakness. It's courage in motion. It's humanity at its finest. Sometimes, the world doesn't reward doing the right thing. Sometimes it punishes it. But sometimes, when you least expect it, the world takes notice, and hearts across a nation remember what truly matters. In saving one life, Mariah lit a path for thousands. And in the eyes of a little girl who got a second chance, she saw everything she needed to keep going. Because in the end, the job she lost was just a title. But the life she saved, that was everything.